They've given up.
And well, they haven't given up. No, they.
No, I say they've given up that trust.
Yeah, they've given up the
They
trust.
become part of the
when
situation.
you talk with Boehner, for instance, and he says, you know, Tim, you understand that it wasn't easy to keep all the Republicans together unanimously. Every one of them voted against the health care bill, including Mary Bono from California. She went south on us on the cap and trade. We lost 6 Republicans on that out of 177. But that's still amazing. Because there were still a number of those, you wouldn't call them fully rhinos, but they're not far away from it. And we're only talking now maybe 2 handfuls left. They've been winnowed out, including some conservatives in these last 2 elections. Remember, I went to Congress winning with 49% of the vote. Of the 13 of us new freshman members of Congress from around the nation that came as Republicans, only 13 from the entire nation in 2006. We call ourselves lucky 13, but only one of us won with more than 51% of the vote. That's how close it was then. So there was some winning when it started in 2006 and 2008. It went hog wild. And so right now, I can tell you, and this ought to encourage you, that out of those 177, I know for a fact 130 or so of those are solid, rock grid, consistent, never say die conservatives. They're all members of the Republican Study Committee, which is one of the caucuses in the House, and I was a member of that as well. It cost you $3,000 to be in it. It cost you signing a document with the principles of conservative on it. And if you violated those, started to violate those consistently, you would be called in. If you didn't change, you were simply taken off the caucus and you didn't get your $3,000 back. I mean, it was a very committed conservative group. Tom Price is the leader of that now from Georgia. Dr. Tom Price, you may have heard of him, rock grid, articulate conservative. And that's encouraging because now out of 177, and there are a few others that would be still considered conservatives, even though for whatever reason they're not a member of the Republican Study Committee, that are there. And I think should we win this back, you can count on the fact that the next 2 years you will see conservative in the House in action. Now, as I told you, the whole process has to continue where you hold our feet to the fire. I had the last one, I was in Coldwater for noon meet and greet at Bigby Coffee Shop, and it's great coffee. Anyway, one lady asked a question. She says, Tim, she says, how do we get these people to deal with the issue of immigration? How do we get them to use the law that's in place and to support states like Arizona? And then she went on, and I looked at her and said, now hear me clearly what I'm saying. Elect the right people. And she said, no, I mean, no, you're just one, but how do we get, I said, elect the right people. I said, you got to understand, it's not just the politician that's the problem. So I never got in the State House or Congress without somebody electing me. I just didn't say, I'm going to Congress. People elected me. And so Scott Brown was elected this time. He walked away from conservative principles when he voted for the financial reform bill a week and a half ago. I think the people of Massachusetts that elected him, or conservatives, ought to say to him, we're going to give you trouble. We may let you by with this one. But we're not just electing somebody to fill a seat that's a Republican instead of a Kennedy Democrat. We are expecting you to hold to the principles of our Constitution at the very least. And the Constitution does not give you the right as Congress to take over the financial system and the markets and set up banks and lending institutions and corporations that are too big to fail. That was never in the plan of what we established beginning in 1776. And I think there has to be that discipline that comes from the voter remembering that I have the ballot box, and the elected official remembering that I am a product of the ballot box, and I'm a product of those who sent me there. If we don't forget that, I think we have amazing days ahead, and we have a contract with America that is far better than a written contract with America that politicians put out. And people say how wonderful and say everything's okay now and walk away and let it happen, and here we are. And now we got to work our way out of it. So So I really would applaud them for giving some type of agenda, but I would applaud them likewise for saying, even though we have this agenda, we still are willing to prove it. And we expect you to hold our feet to the fire.